All right. What's going on, party people? Yeah, I'm back. Um, Somebody asked a real good question on the last video I just did, and so I just got back home. Me and the wife was at the picking her up from the cosmetology school, and so I was checking my comments. Like I told you, I always look at my comments, and somebody asked a question saying, realistically, how fast can they go from part time to full time? And realistically, that depends on the area that you live in. Depends on how much work is coming through, whether you're getting a lot of general notary work, loan closings. It's really based off of what's going on locally. It's hard to say, okay, if you start, you know, today and you're gonna be full time in 6 months. I started in June, July, about July 2018. I didn't go full time until November 2020. So it really does vary because what you have to do is set your goal. You got to actually come up with a dollar amount that you want to make per month. And some of my older videos, I've talked about that. You got to set up, and I talked about me going full time. The first thing I had to do was set a dollar amount. What is the gross dollar amount that I want to bring in? What's the average? What do I see as the average dollar amount being paid for closings? So during that time, it was $85. So I said, okay, well, at that time I was like $6,000. So I came to the conclusion that about 70 signings a month at $85 could get me $6,000, and that was my goal, knowing that there'll be times where I get orders for higher, more than 85, and lower than 85. So the average is 85. And I figured if I can do 70 closes a month, I can hit 85. So it all depends on what goal you have and how close can you get to that amount. Now keep in mind, doing loan closings, the dollars get delayed being paid to you sometimes up to 90 days. So you need to make sure that you have enough reserve money available to pay your bills for at least 3 months. So that whatever you did this month, is coming down the line. So let's just say if you decide you want to go full time in February of next year, that means at least October, November, December, you need to be working as much as you can, taking as many orders as you can, so you can have money that's coming in February. If you go light in October, you go light in November, and you really don't, and you do a little bit better or so in December. When you go full time in February, you're not going to have a whole lot of money coming in. So I will aim to October, November, December, or the 4 months prior to me going full time. That's what I'm working on. So I'm not even counting January because do as much as you can in January because in what February, March, April. So at least in May you're gonna be starting to get some money coming in. But you need to have money coming in starting about 2 or 3 months before you go full time and at least a month or two after. So that's what I'm saying, October, November, December, so you can have money coming. So October, so you put November, December, so you got money starting to come in January. Then in the month that you actually go full time, February, then March, and then you got what you did in January coming in May or April and all of that. So that's how I'm looking at it. And then you might be even further back because, well, January, yeah, so it will work that way. That's what I would do now, seeing that signing companies are delaying how quickly how they pay you by up to 90 days. How fast can this happen? In my opinion, unless a person is actually in your area, they really can't tell you how fast this could happen because they don't know your local market. If they knew your local market, they was working in there, and their business model and what they was doing was very similar to what you're trying to do, then I would say they could actually answer that. But it's hard to say, oh, you can do if you go out and next thing you know in 3 months. That's hard because you just don't know. Because I don't know, like the person who asked the question, I don't know if they're in attorney state, are they out west, down south, what I don't know if they're in a rural area. All of these things matter. So your local logistics, your environment, all of that stuff matters when it comes to saying, oh, okay, how fast can I go from being part time to full time? How far are you willing to travel? How late are you willing to go out there? All of those things matter. So the best piece of advice I can give anybody who's trying to go full time in this business is to get out there and take as many orders as you can. Keep track of how much you're bringing in and what you're getting per your average. So if you brought in 4,000 and you did 35 signings, okay, then you figure out 4,000 divided by 35, or that divided 35 times is X amount of dollars per signing. If you're doing 60, 70, and you're bringing in 6,800, well, that's going to be a little bit under $100 per signing. You bringing in 7,300 and you're doing 68 signings, well, that's going to be over $100 per signing. So I've been as low as $80 per signing, no, $79 per signing, and as high as 110. So that's the range that I have seen over the last 5 years. But each area is different. So again, in my opinion, I don't think anybody who's not actually working in your area and understands what you're doing and pretty much got the same lifestyle or whatever, because all of that stuff matters. It's hard for them to be able to say, if you do this, you'll make money. You might get lucky, but is it sustainable? You get what I'm saying? Is it really sustainable to do that? Because we know if you're working with a local title company and that title company locally doesn't have a lot of work, then where are you going to get your business from? That's where the signing companies. But if you're being told don't get with the signing companies, then where are you going to get business from? Because as one lady that was on Clubhouse, she said she really makes her money for her signing company for out of town orders. So that's really where it's at. The local title company, if all they pushing is like maybe 15, 20 closings a month, and they're working with 5 or 6 notaries, you're not going to get all 15 of those closings. You probably get maybe 2 or 3, if that. So you got to get business from elsewhere. Then if you try to work with multiple title companies, you could end up having a conflict because one title company wants you there at 8, another one wants you there at 8:30. Who you going to do business with? You see what I'm saying? But when you with the signing companies, you have a little bit more flexibility. And then the general notary work, working with attorneys, all of that plays in a key factor that can be money, right now money. So, correct, I haven't answered the question and said it'll take this long because all of these are different factors that you have to take into account. And there's no way that I can honestly and legitimately and responsibly say it'll take you this long because I don't know the area you're in. I don't know what city, state, you know, any of that. And even if I did, because I'm not in that area, how can I honestly say this is how fast it's going to take that? If you do these 6 things, boom. And I know a lot of notaries are looking for that. They're looking for someone, and maybe not this person, just I'm talking in general here. Some people are like, just tell me what to do and then I'm going to do it. What companies are you signed up for? And they're figuring that if I get with these companies that you're with, then boom, it's going to pop. Well, you could get with the same companies. The thing is, they may not have business in that area. They got business in my area, but maybe not yours. So that's the key thing. Where do they have business at? And that's why I always share with y'all. If you're signing up with a signing company, you're talking about working direct with anybody, ask them, do you have business in my area, and what level and what type of work do you have? Because some companies may have a lot of work in your area, but it might be all HELOCs, and HELOCs pay between 50 and 100 depending on the company. They may have a lot of work in your area, but it might be purchases, and their purchases that they have might be hybrids, and they say, well, since it's hybrid, they signed a little bit online. We're only going to pay you 75 to do the face to face. So all of these matter. That's why I say you can't just say, well, how fast will it take when there's so many different logistical things that you have to take into account. So I can't even say it'll take as fast as you put forth the effort, because I don't know that area. I don't know what your local market is, anything. I don't know how much, how willing you are to sacrifice whatever time and family and what money or whatever to do this. I don't know all of those, and all of those things are a part of determining how fast something can happen. So hopefully that gave you some guidance. I know it did not. I don't think it didn't answer the direct question of how fast can you go from part-time to full-time. That's an order coming. Remember, I was just telling y'all, orders be coming in the middle of the night, and that's tomorrow, 8:30 to 8 p.m. And where is it at? Oh, that's in Franklin, Virginia. Ooh, yeah, they talking about Franklin, Virginia, 8 p.m. That's an hour's drive for me. This is what I'm telling y'all. This is when I'm recording this video, y'all, so y'all could understand. It's 10:30 at night. It's 10:39, and the order came in for Franklin, Virginia, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Something called Grid 151 Refi, which I gotta search that, and I'm gonna Google that and figure out what that means and all of that. So, and yeah, I could have edited all of this out, but I'm not, because y'all need to know that at any point in time, an order can come in. So part of the moving toward being full time, the question is, if you had time to do this order, would you? Now, I think the fee that they're charging for having 85, having to drive that hour, that time of night, something like that, yeah. And most people pay $1.50 for that, to go that far. Most of the people in my area, get paid that much or maybe even more to go that distance. So the question is, if you got this order at 8:39 at night for tomorrow for 8 p.m., would you accept it? And would you go, to go do it? Would you say, yes, I'm available, I'm interested, this is on SnapDocs, and go do it if they assigned it to you? That's the question. And that can determine how fast you can also go out there and become full time. All right. So I'm going to say not available at that time. Now, if I was interested in actually doing it, I would have responded the fee too low or because of the distance, and then say, hey, it's a 2-hour round trip, and here's my fee request of dot dot dot. But since I already have a 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, there's no way I can do it, because I'm not going to be able to get out there by that time. All right. So that's how fast things can happen. You just got to be ready to hop on it when it comes. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.